Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daria if you're new. Today we are in Washington State on Harstine Island, beautiful place to practice yoga. This class is called Open Heart, Open Mind, and in this practice we'll be working with a lot of front body opening and expansion, which also requires a lot of strength and activation in the back body. We'll also be working with opening the mind to exploring new possibilities in our practice, what it feels like to really dig into discomfort and explore our limiting beliefs with our practice and our postures. All you'll need for this practice is yourself and some place to move, and whenever you're ready, let's get into it. We'll get started today in Sphinx, so come all the way down to lie on your belly. Send your toes back behind you, root the tops of your feet down, and then bring your elbows maybe an inch or so in front of your shoulders. Let the palms of your hands soften down into the mat and allow this to be not quite as active as you might usually practice in Sphinx. Just for a moment, allow your front body to melt. Let your low belly relax. And let go of any gripping or holding or engagement in your thighs, your quads, your hamstrings, your calves. And let the bottoms of your feet and your toes expand and relax. Align your neck with the rest of your spine so that it's connected in one straight line. And then begin to bring more awareness to your breath. And so that as you inhale, your torso can fill up like a balloon. Let your low belly swell with air. Exhale through an open mouth, sigh, relax. Let anything out on the stream of your breath that you don't require in this moment, that you don't need to hold or carry anymore. And let these sighs be audible. Really release. You can fade in Ujjayi breath when you're ready. And begin to breathe so deeply that every fiber of your body can be touched with breath. Now allow your chin to fall down toward your chest. Drop it forward. Without force, just let your head hang heavy toward your mat. And then roll your neck so that your right ear and your right shoulder come closer together. And press your elbows into the mat. Hug them toward your toenails. And then open the front of your throat by reaching the back of your head towards your toes. And then carry your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Stretch through the right side of your neck. And then drop your head all the way back down and forward. Gentle neck rolls. And keep going in this direction. Take your right ear to your right shoulder again. Begin to become a bit more active by tractioning your elbows towards your hip bones. Press into the tops of your feet and your toenails. And notice that as you activate more into your elbows and your palms, your front body expansion deepens. As you continue with your neck circles, your revolutions, pause anywhere that feels sticky or interesting or like there's a little knot, a little kink that you'd like to explore. You can stay in stillness in that spot or just take little micro movements to feel into it a bit more deeply. And when you reach the bottom of whatever circle you're on, reverse the direction. So carry your left ear towards your left shoulder first. Then take your head all the way up and around to the back, over to the right, and then forward. And these circles might be bigger and broader for some and super subtle and gentle for others. So listen to what your body needs. Go inside. And allow your body and your breath to begin to create a shorthand so that they can communicate and move from that communication. One more circle in whatever direction you're going. And then begin to melt your heart down toward the mat. Draw your palms next to your ribs. Tuck your toes behind you. Press into your palms. And super slowly glide your way back to an active child's pose. Pull your hips towards your heels, but reach forward through your hands and through your heart. So it's really active, like you could just pounce forward or jump onto something. Inhale, round forward to all fours, hands and knees. Hug your belly button up towards your spine. As you exhale, begin to melt all the way forward. Release your pelvis and then your rib cage and then your heart and your chin down to the mat. Untuck your toes. As you inhale, press into all 10 of your toenails. Hug your pubic bone up towards your sternum. Activate your glutes. Peel your heart off of the mat. Keep reaching forward through the roof of your mouth as you draw your shoulder blades together to activate your back body. And then really lean into this activation to lift yourself up, maybe a bit higher. Exhale, root your palms, tuck your toes. Keep your elbows close to your rib cage as you press your way up to all fours and then glide back, active child's pose. Inhale, round forward, hands and knees. Exhale, melt your pelvis, your hip bones, your belly, and then your heart. Untuck your toes. As you inhale, press up for baby cobra. Hover your hands away from the mat. See if you can feel the inner lines and the outer lines of your legs engaging by hugging your inner ankle bones together while simultaneously pressing out toward the sides of your space with your pinky toenails. One more inhale. Lift up. Exhale, melt back down. Plant your palms, tuck your toes, glide back, active child's pose in one big exhale. Inhale, ripple forward, hands and knees. Exhale, melt your front body down to the mat. Untuck your toes. This time, spider your fingertips out to the wide edges of your mat. You can keep your thumbs connected to the mat and let the other four come off. Tent your elbows up tall and imagine that there's something under your palms that you don't want to crush. So keep that space buoyant. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears as you rise your torso away from the mat. Keep all the activation in your legs. Hug the midline, press away from it simultaneously. Pull your pubic bone up towards your sternum and then begin to rotate your biceps forward. Drop your shoulders away from your ears by hugging your shoulder blades together and swell your heart forward from back to front. Really feel that as you pull your shoulder blades together, how this allows you to puff your heart more forward. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, lower down, but lower down more forward than where you began. So it's like your spine has grown even longer than it was before. Root your palms next to your ribs, tuck your toes. Lift yourself up, glide back, active child's pose. Inhale, round forward through hands and knees, cat. Exhale, micro bend your elbows, tuck your toes, pick up your knees, press palms down and forward and glide back, downward facing dog. Take a few moments to build a really solid foundation here, a really rooted connection between your hands and the earth, your feet and the earth, and then even more specifically, all 10 of your fingers and all 10 of your toes, like they're each little organisms that are constantly searching for deeper rooting, deeper connection. And press down even more into the L shape between your thumb and your index finger. Root your index finger mound, and then hug those two fingers toward each other. Magnetize your lowest set of ribs together and down. And step your left toes a little more to the midline. Inhale, sweep your right leg high, three-legged down dog. As you exhale, lift up high onto the ball of your left foot. Draw your right knee into your chest. Keep your hips high and see how silently and slowly you can step your right foot down between your palms. Feet are hips distance apart. Sink your left knee down. Keep your fingertips rooting to the earth. As you inhale, squeeze your inner thighs together, traction your right foot and your left knee toward each other, and then reach forward through your heart, but keep your fingertips connected. Cinch your waist, lift your ribcage away from your hips, send your heart forward, and then exhale, glide your hips back, half splits. Flex your right toes up towards your face. Keep the action of magnetizing right heel and left knee toward each other. As you inhale, ripple through your spine to reach the core of your pelvis and the crown of your head away from each other. And then as you exhale, just for one breath, fold so that your heart comes closer to your right toes. Step back into your right foot. Really let the sole of your right foot expand down into the earth as you inhale here. And then exhale, step your left foot beside your right, hips distance away, fold from your hips. Take one breath here. Inhale. If you like, you can halfway lift. Exhale, let everything drop. Bend your knees a little or a lot and allow your head to totally hang heavy and forward. Begin to sit deeply. So your hips shift back, weight goes into your heels, bend your knees a lot, chair legs. And then as you inhale, ripple your torso all the way up high, fingertips reach up, shoulders fall away from your ears. Then sink deeper into your heels. Let your toes stay floaty and light away from the earth. Press from your glutes down to your heels and then rise all the way up to stand Tadasana mountain pose. Tone the arches of your feet by pressing down into your big toes, your pinky toes and your heels, and then charge your quads. Cinch your waist, puff your heart. As you exhale, bring your palms to meet overhead. Take your gaze up toward the sky and then get as long as possible. Root down so much through your feet and lift up so much through your fingers that it's like you're being pulled equally in two directions. Keeping this length, begin to shift your tailbone a little bit forward. Keep pulling up through the whole front line of your body and go for a mini back bend. Lean into your back body as you lift your heart up and back. Use your core to rise up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward folds. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, come up high onto the balls of your feet. You can step them back a few inches if you like. So it's sort of like a forward fold or downward facing dog hybrid. Bend your elbows a lot. Draw your knees up as high on your triceps as possible, maybe even up into your armpits, and play with crow pose. Hug your belly to your spine, really hollow out your front body. Press into your fingertips, maybe pick up one foot or both, and fly. If your feet are lifted, see if you can draw your heels in even closer towards your glutes. Steady your gaze. Stay for 2 more rounds of breath, or just play for 2 more rounds of breath. As slowly as possible, release your feet down to the earth. Bring them about hips distance apart. Turn your toes out. Sink your hips down between your heels, Malasana. Draw your palms to meet in front of your heart. Root down through your tailbone as much as you elevate through the crown of your head. And breathe. You can sigh. You can release any way that you'd like. You can close your eyes to go a little more inside. And then plant your palms, pick up your hips, and step your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale to sweep your left leg high, three-legged down dog. Hips are square toward the earth. As you exhale, lift up your right heel. Draw your left knee in close to your chest. Hollow your front body and step your left foot down towards your left thumb. Sink your right knee down. Keep fingertips connected to the earth. Hug your inner thighs together and just reach your heart forward. Expand your vertebrae, all the space between your vertebrae. As you exhale, melt your hips back. Flex your left toes towards your face, half splits. Inhale here to ripple from your pelvic floor forward through the roof of your mouth. As you exhale, send your outer left hip back and your right hip forward as you melt your heart towards your left toes. No need to go in super deeply right away. Just go to where it gets interesting. Begin to step back into your left foot. Inhale here. And then exhale, root your fingertips and step your right foot hips distance away from your left. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift, stretch out through your spine, iron it out. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sink weight back into your heels, bend your knees a lot, setting up for chair pose. And then pull up from your pelvis to your ribs, to your heart, to your eyes, and to your fingertips. As you exhale, sink and settle down into your chair. Hips melt closer to the earth. Imagine like you're actually going to sit back into a chair. Inhale, press down into the earth so much that you rise all the way up to stand. Ripple your fingertips up overhead and bring your palms to meet. And then go for length. Root down through your toes, reach up through your fingertips into the sky. As you exhale, take a back bend. This can be a little one. This can be as exaggerated as you like. If you prefer to cactus your arms or interlace your hands at the base of your spine, go for it. Take open mouth exhales. Lean into your back body. And then use your core to inhale and rise all the way back up. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. And now root your palms, step your feet back, setting up again to play in crow pose. So dig all 10 of your fingertips down and suction them into the mat so they're so firmly rooted. Come up high onto your toes, bend your knees so that they connect with your triceps or maybe your armpits up really, really high. Then go for chaturanga arms. Hug your forearms to the midline like you're pulling your elbows together like they're magnetized. Then play with shifting your weight forward and back, and maybe float your toes away from the earth and pull your heels in as close to your glutes as you can. Hollow your front body. Hug your low belly towards your spine. And if you're shaking or wavering, just dig in for 2 more breaths. And use your hands like steering wheels. Use your fingertips to adjust back to where you need to be. Shift the balance. Then slowly lower your feet back down. Sink your hips. Malasana. You can sway side to side if you like. This doesn't have to be a super technical Malasana. Just take a few moments to explore this shape and play. Maybe come up onto your toes on one side and then the other, lifting up your heels. Or sit in stillness if that's serving you better. Root your palms, step your way back to downward facing dog. Left toes root down so much that your right leg floats up as you inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, glide your right foot to your right thumb, step it down. Root both big toe mounds down, press down and forward through your right foot as you inhale, high lunge, fingertips sweep up overhead, dig in deeply through your roots. And pay special attention to your toes. Big toes and pinky toes especially rooting down. And then in your front foot, root down so much through your toes that maybe you can lift your heel away from the earth, like you don't even need it anymore. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Cinch your waist, lift your rib cage away from your hips, and then cactus your arms. Begin to grow so long through the whole front line of your body that it's like you could float up into the air, but you're staying rooted down through your feet like anchors, so you don't actually float away. As you exhale, hug your shoulder blades together to support you, and then lean into them. Try to lift your heart up toward the sky. If you need to lower your front heel back down, that's absolutely fine. One more little reach. Good, and then begin to keep your right heel lifted if you can. Circle your arms down and around, reach them forward, and then root your right heel. Root your fingertips down, maybe a foot or a little more in front of your right toes. Heel toe your right foot out slightly wider. As you inhale, come forward onto your left toes. Stretch your heart forward. Keep buoyancy in your pelvis by tractioning your inner thighs toward each other. And then as you exhale, recede back. Glide your left heel toward the back wall. You can drop your head. Again, like that. Inhale, come forward like you're gonna pounce on something, really active. Exhale, recede, left heel toward the back. Head can drop. One more time. Inhale, reach forward, grow your hips. Exhale, glide back. And begin to walk your hands more toward the midline of your mat. Drop your left knee. And then shift your hips back so your right foot is still outside of your right hand. See if you can press into your palms so much that you can lift up your right foot. Then begin to glide your right leg out toward the side so it's in line with your hip, and then all the way to the back. Spin your right toes down toward the mat. Take an inhale here. Lift up through your right toes in the crown of your head like you're in a cow shape, but with the right leg lifted. And then as you exhale, bring your right knee down, about hips distance away from your left. Curl your fingertips back towards your knees, tuck your toes, and come up to standing on your knees. Take a big breath here, big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Begin to squeeze your inner thighs toward each other, magnetize them together. And then pull up from the very, very base of your pelvis, so your pubic bone, into your low belly into your solar plexus to heart. And notice that just this activation allows you to grow a few inches right there. Keep your butt soft, so it's not clenching or squeezing or pressing forward for now. Just keep it sort of plushy. And then bring your palms down to your sacrum. You can either have your fingers spinning down to face toward the earth, or you can point them up toward your head. I find that pointing them up toward my head allows me to focus on drawing my elbows together and puffing my heart more, but you can play and explore in your own body and see what works best for you. Then come back to that squeezing together of your inner thighs. Send your tailbone towards your pubic bone to your sternum. Cinch your waist, keep it really tight like you're putting on a corset or something. And then super slowly, use this length to begin to open the front of your throat, but only do that as it's necessary because of how much you're growing up through your front body. Each time that you inhale, carry the air up into your heart to lift it higher And then as you exhale, you can lean back into your back body as you're ready. If you begin to feel any clenching or crunchiness in your back off a little bit and stay and breathe where you're able to feel more expansion. If you like, you can begin to lift your heart all the way up to the sky. Maybe reach back for your heels or not. Camel pose, Ustrasana. Squeeze your inner arm bones together. Puff your heart, expand your belly. When you're ready, press your palms into your sacrum. Use your core to rise up. Head is the last thing to lift. Then sink your hips back to sit on your heels. Bring your palms to face up on your thighs. Close your eyes, drop. Let all of that go. Breathe into whatever you're experiencing. Feel your heart beating in your chest. And just take a moment to notice. Get so quiet and open in your mind that you can really hear every bit of sensational experience in its most unfiltered, raw format. And blink your eyes open. Reach forward with your hands, root them down, tuck your toes, pick up your knees, glide back, downward facing dog. Inhale to reach your left leg high, three-legged down dog. Exhale, glide your left foot through to the top of your space, low lunge. As you inhale, root your big toes down, reach up with your heart and your fingertips. And check in with your arms, with your shoulders, with your hands. Allow everything to be a little floatier in your upper body and more deeply rooted in your lower body. Then begin to send special awareness down into your left toes. Press into them so much that maybe you can pick up your left heel away from the mat, come onto the ball of your left foot. Keep squeezing your inner thighs together and root down so much that it is like you are drawing your legs into the very core of the earth. Pull your belly button toward your spine, cactus your arms, cinch your waist, and begin to find a little back bend. Lift your heart up toward the sky. If you need to lower your left heel, that is okay. Breathe. Good. And then reach your arms all the way forward as they'll go, fingertips. So your torso's melting toward your left thigh. Then release your fingertips down as you drop your left heel and crawl your left foot to the outer edge of your mat, the wide edge. Inhale to swell forward. Really roll all the way forward to the very tips of your right toes. Elevate your hips. Send your heart forward. And then as you exhale, glide your right heel back. Melt your heart toward your left toes. Drop your head. Inhale to elongate. Stretch through all the lines of your body. Reach forward, forward, forward. Exhale, glide back. Head can drop, neck is long. Inhale, grow forward. So much activation. Squeeze your thighs so much that they shake. Exhale, glide back. Head drops. Good. Walk your palms back so that they're in line with your left foot, then sink your right knee down. Begin to press into your palms and shift your hips back, sort of like half splits, but your left foot is still stepped to the outside of your hands. Root into the earth, squeeze your belly, and lift up your left heel. Then hover your left foot away from the mat to the left side in line with your hips, and then reach all the way back with your left toes. Inhale here to swell your heart forward. Soften your belly toward the mat, engage your back body. And then exhale, bring your left knee down, hips distance away from your right. This time, option 2, untuck your toes, so bring the tops of your feet down to the mat, or you can stay with them tucked. We will do one more round of camel pose. Crawl your fingers back towards your knees. Sit your hips back a little bit. And then in one inhale breath, sweep your pelvis forward, squeeze your inner thighs together, and reach up really high with all of your fingertips. Keep your arms up for a few breaths here as we set up. If your tops of your feet are down, press into your toenails. If your toes are tucked, press into your toes. And then inner thighs pull together. Butt is sort of fluffy. Tailbone pulls toward pubic bone. Pubic bone zips all the way up the front line of your body. Cinch your waist. Rib cage pulls away from hips. Heart is puffy. When you're ready, you can release your hands back to your sacrum, either fingertips facing down or up. And then get so long in the front line of your body, so expansive. Lift up your whole pelvic floor up to the roof of your mouth. Lean into your back body. Each time that you breathe, find more expansion in your front body. And then begin to find your edge. Explore if your mind begins to get involved and tell you that you can't do it or that you've never gone this far before. And see if you can dig into the discomfort, whether that's physical discomfort or mental discomfort. Take a few more breaths on your own. When you're ready to come out, use your core, press your hands into your low back. Head is the last thing to lift. And again, sink back, hips to heels. Palms flip up on your thighs. Close your eyes, drop. And there's a great amount of work that our minds will do to avoid any discomfort that we expect to feel because of a past experience. And so becoming aware of when the mind interferes with the physical sensation can help us to become more expansive in our practice. Expanding the mind can potentially have the side effect of expanding our practice, expanding the shapes, finding more depth. And so if you were able to dig into some of the intensity and try to separate what discomfort feels like from what is actually painful or unsafe, perhaps you were able to explore some new depth or some new sensation. And blink your eyes open. And root your palms down to the earth. Tuck your toes, pick up your knees, glide back, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg high, three-legged down dog. Exhale, draw your right knee to your right tricep. Then spin your right shin at 45 degrees and slowly melt it down to the earth, setting up for half pigeon. Crawl your left toes back behind you so that you can sink your left knee down to the mat. Press into your right toenails and begin to crawl your fingertips towards your hips. So maybe they come in front of your right shin, or maybe they come beside your hips, or maybe you can bring them onto your sacrum again right here. Inhale and squeeze your right knee and your left knee toward each other. Lift up from your pelvic floor to your chin. And then exhale, melt back down to the earth. If it helps, you can use your arms. So inhale, hug the midline, squeeze your inner thighs together. Reach your fingertips up and imagine that you're gonna take flight, so like you could lift off from the earth. Then exhale, melt back down. One more time. Inhale, squeeze, lift your pelvic floor. Keep your hips squaring toward the front of the room. If you can, reach your fingertips up overhead. Press into your right toenails and your left knee. Get so long through your front body. And then if you like, begin to drop your head back. Lift your gaze, puff your heart. Activate your back body, expand your front body. Keep pressing your hips forward and away from the earth. And go for a little back bend. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, untuck your left toes, sink your pelvic floor back down, and fold into sleeping pigeon. Let all of that activation go. And allow yourself to find a spot, a position that feels really cozy here. Find some place to rest your head. And if you like to close your eyes and really explore internally, explore the sensations you're feeling. Explore the thoughts that are arising. And just totally surrender. And check places that maybe you don't always check for any residual tension. Check your shoulders, the backs of your knees, and check your low belly. And behind your ears. Take 2 more breaths here. Ask yourself what else you can let go. And when you're ready, unless you'd like to stay longer, press into your palms, crawl your hands back towards your shin, tuck your left toes, pick up your right knee, and step your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your right or your left leg high, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Hold and squeeze here, and then spin your left shin to 45. Slowly melt it down to the mat. Crawl your right toes behind you, but keep them tucked. Begin to draw your fingertips in closer toward your body. And this can be anywhere you like, anywhere along the spectrum. Inhale, squeeze left knee and right knee toward each other. Lift your hips away from the earth. And then exhale, release, melt back down. Inhale, squeeze, lift. Notice how this helps you to square your hips toward the front of the room. And then exhale, release back down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Maybe palms meet over your head. Keep the lift away from the earth, really active in your legs. And then if you like, go for a back bend here. When you're ready, rise up, untuck your right toes, and begin to fold all the way forward. Let all of the effort of the lifting up and bending back in half pigeon go, so that now you can surrender into ease. And let your breath massage into any tight spaces. And imagine that there is a cleansing effect, like a rinsing effect to your breath. And so that every exhale washes away any old holding patterns, any layers of tension that you no longer require. If you're ready, begin to walk your fingertips back toward the midline. Tuck your right toes. Pick up your left knee, your left shin, and step back, downward facing dog. Take a big, full, deep, rich inhale breath. Open mouth, exhale, clear, release, cleanse. Lift up high onto the balls of your feet. Drop your knees down to your mat. Shift your hips to one side or the other to come to sit down. Send the soles of your feet in front of you to the top of your mat. Bend your knees. Reach your fingertips forward. And then roll down one vertebra at a time to lie on your back. Draw your right knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze. And then extend the sole of your right foot up toward the ceiling. The leg doesn't have to come totally to straight, but bring it close-ish to straight. And then bring your left hand to the outside of your right shin or your right calf. Pick up your hips and shift them slightly toward the right side of your mat, and then release your right foot all the way to the left. So the inside of the right foot comes down. You can stay with the left hand connected to anywhere along the outside of the right leg, maybe all the way to the outside of the right foot if you like. And then stay and breathe here, or bend your left knee, kick your left heel in toward your butt, reach with your right fingers to hook your left big toe. So you're wrapped up like a pretzel here. And then connect both of your shoulder blades down to the earth and totally surrender. Let your breath begin to soften. If you hooked your left toes, begin to release the left leg back long. Roll your way back to the midline. Right foot extends up toward the sky. And then switch it out. So the right foot goes forward. Left knee pulls into your chest. Give it a squeeze. Then extend the left foot up toward the sky, straightening or close to straightening the left leg. Grab for what's accessible to you with the right hand. Pick up your hips by pressing into your right foot. And then draw your left leg all the way across the midline to the right side of your mat. Arms go out to a wide T. You can grab for the outside of the left foot if it's accessible with your right hands. Stay and breathe. Or kick your right heel in. Reach for your right toes with your left fingers. Hook them, and then relax both shoulder blades down to the earth. And begin to release your grip wherever it is, whatever option you took, and make your way, find your way back to the midline, lying on your back. Draw both knees into your chest and begin to make little circles. You can bring your palms to the fronts of your shins, little circles around the base of your spine. Massage out the low back. When you're ready, squeeze yourself, wrap yourself up into a nice tight hug. Wrap forearms around shins, lift your shoulder blades. Inhale. And exhale. Expand into Savasana. If you'd like, since this was a heart opening practice, you can always bring a block under your heart, or one under your heart and one under your head, like a supported fish, just to get a little more elevation, or just stay in Shavasana. Let the palms of your hands expand as they face up toward the sky. Let your toes fall open. Let everything disengage. Imagine that you're lying under the warmest sun on the most perfect day with a gentle breeze. Everything is exactly as it should be, and so there's nothing you need to poke at or prod at or fix in this moment. And you're able to just allow life to flow through completely unhindered. Notice if there's any space in your body that still is feeling like it's holding on. Take a moment to check in with that space. Communicate with it with your breath. And then totally surrender. I encourage you to stay and rest as long as you have time for, or until your body lets you know that it is ready to move on with the rest of your day or night, that it's fully cooked, fully absorbed. And when you are ready, if you're ready now, begin to bring lots of depth back to your breath. Fill up all the new openings in your heart with air. And then begin to bring little movements back to your fingertips and your toes, waking yourself back up in the gentlest way. You can stretch back with your arms, take a long body stretch, and grow as long as you can. And then roll to one side or the other, fetal pose. Rest your head down on your bicep, melt into the earth one more time. Give it all back. And press your palms down to rise up. Keep your eyes closed, maybe a soft gaze. Find a spacious, comfortable seat. Build it from the ground up based on how it feels, earthy and rooted. And then draw your palms to meet in front of your heart. Inhale again into all of this new space you created, all the juicy openings and expansions. And exhale to release any limiting beliefs that you encountered in your practice today, any old thought patterns or past experiences that no longer serve you. And take one more inhale and one more exhale just for you, into whatever space or for whatever dedication or gratitude speaks to you right now. And then lift your heart up towards your brain. Bow your brain in towards your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today, for exploring some front body and heart openings, and for challenging yourself to question some of the beliefs that your mind might have, or the way your mind might interfere with the expression in your body. I hope you enjoyed this practice. If you did and you're not already, make sure to go down below and subscribe to my channel because that really supports me. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day or your night, and I will see you on Friday for another video. Bye.